On anyone tonight?
Well, I think that if I had to put money on, I would be putting my money on Oleszuk.
Gennady Oleszuk. Well, he's certainly got all the experience in the world. Belarus, they've got one championship here. That was Vitaly Derbanov, if you remember, the opening.
I'm just trying to remember. Has he actually lifted in this weight class before, Oleszuk? I don't think he has. I think this is a new class for him, is it not?
He won a world title in 2001, total up 317 and a half, and that incidentally was the same total he had in Sydney.
But that was was in a lower weight class.
I'll check on it. Anyway, here we go. First man onto the stage. First of the two Bulgarians.
Yes, coming in with exactly the weight that he said he would. 130 kilos. 286 pounds. So Figratov, Bulgaria. Nice technique and a solid opening snatch for him. And the three white lights. Yes, very clean lifting.
Podwyższa, gaz 135 kg proszę i podmiennego ciężaru rozpocząć.
So the bar is now going to be increased by 5 kilos to 135, and this should be for the Azerbaijan athlete.
Just picking up your point, David, just double checking the records. Yes, those achievements, the World Championship in Antalya in 2001 and the Olympic bronze medal in Sydney, they were at the 62 kilo category. So, as you say, very interesting to see what he can do. He was third in the World Championships in 2003. That was in Vancouver, and third in Europe in the same season.
So 135 kilos for Afghan. Well, not as clean as the previous lift. I'm going to have to check the lights on that, but it's three white lights. Just a little bit of movement in both arms in the lower position. Didn't go straight to arm's length. Just slightly unlocked and locked again. But the referees were happy with it, so that's counted as a success. Figratov also taking 135 kilos. Remember, these men weighing in at 69 or less, so already at the very, very early stage of this competition, we're approaching almost double body weight. Well, a carbon copy of his opener of 130.
Yeah, so good start here. Some solid lifting from Figratov and Bayramov. B group a little earlier today. Top man in terms of the overall total, Giorgio De Luca of Italy. And although he was in the B group and, as I said, total 303, that's going to be well off the medals today. But encouraging again to see Italy as a Western European nation. I've often thought that maybe it was quite a good idea, David, to have a little reward for the man who wins the B group as a sort of extra incentive. But well done to him. Achieved that with 138 snatch, 165 clean and jerk. And there's no doubt that this 1 kilo rule has really put all the coaches on their mettle here. It was always tactical, it was always a chess game or a poker game, however you like to describe it. But now it's become even more intricate. Now Fikretov. Still in his teens, European silver medalist last year. And this would represent 3 kilos more than he snatched. He totaled up 312 kilos. Didn't do quite so well in the World Championships in Doha. Only 310.
Three good lifts for him.
And interesting, I was going to say, David, although he's lifts for Bulgaria, actually also is a member of the French National League team in Orléans. So, regular competition. So, Fikretov with 138, body weight 68.40. Goes ahead of the man from the B group, De Luca. And the bar to 140 kilos, and it looks like the defending champion for Bulgaria. Only 2 years senior to Fikretov, his teammate. About to open up on 140. Now, is that what he posted, David?
It's exactly what he put in at the warm-up.
50 seconds. And counting down, just beginning to approach the doorway. I just wonder whether this is going to change. Demirov.
The clock stopped.
Yeah, I thought it was the defending champion. But that's not the Bulgarian, that's the Romanian in picture there. That's Ninel Miculescu. Miculescu, again, only 20. And this is first attempt, opening up at 140 kilos. Junior Europeans just missed out on the medals, but did snatch 143 kilos last autumn. Went to the World Championships with the Romanian national team, managed 140. So he's in a zone that he should be comfortable in.
Very good. Good speed, solid, tight in all the positions.
Born in Bucharest, lifts for Dinamo Bucharest, coached by Anton Fitzi, and a very good start. Good speed.
Very good. Yes, I think we may well see a personal best from him today.
Yeah, one better than 145 would be a personal best. He's had a bit of success now. Afgan Bayramov of Azerbaijan.
This didn't look too clever on the opener. I thought it was a press out, but the referees seem to be quite happy with it. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on with this.
You know, he's right on his personal best mark here.
Much better. Yes, that was better than the first.
Haven't seen much of him at senior level. Certainly in the Europeans, you've got to go back 3 years to Loutraki when he snatched 140 kilos. So he's on the same mark as his achievement in Greece. Puts him up into second place, weighed in at 68 kilos 60. So Niculescu weighed in at 68.45, still with the edge. Still a lot of men to start their evening's work. Martirosyan now. Martirosyan for Armenia. The youth champion of last year, only 17. ...141 kilos. Just looking at one of your interesting lists, David, that you composed before the championships. we were looking at objects, weren't we, that equated to weights lifted at 141. Well, you had 138 kilos. You had a spacecraft Tyros satellite. Where on earth did you get that from? Can't quite picture that. Never mind. Venceslas Debaya for France, formerly from the Cameroons, where he was pretty effective, but he's become even better with the support that he's received from the French Weightlifting Federation. Commonwealth Games champion, 5th in the Olympic Games in Athens. But most important, in a way, the bronze medal that he got in Doha last year, 3rd in the World Championships. Good to see. I think this man has a real chance. I would be disappointed, David, if he wasn't on the overall podium, and he could, if things go right, could even reach the top step.
Yeah, it's just a question of his knee. I was watching him in the training hall. He didn't seem to have a problem on the actual lifts, but he did some squats at the end of his training session, and he seemed to be in some pain. His knee was all strapped up, so hopefully it won't have too much of an effect. I mean, he's put in 141 and 180 on the clean and jerk, so one would guess that it's not going to pose too much of a problem.
Well, let's hope so, because at 25 years of age, he's really coming into the height of his powers. 2 years away from the Olympic Games in Beijing. So, Mirzaev now, and a little bit more experience. This man who missed out on the medals in Athens. He was 4th in the Olympic Games, where he snatched 147.5 kilos, total up 332.5. Good enough start. He's also European silver medalist in Greece 3 years ago, and he's got a world bronze to his credit. And you just sense, David, that nobody's going to get far away in this competition. So far, it's a wonderful scoreboard to look at, because not a failure in sight. Everything good. So very good lifting, but inevitably the pressure's going to go on when Oleshuk of Belarus and Gazarian of Armenia and Demirev, the defending champion, start. But this is Bayramov. Now Bayramov at the moment down in 5th place, 135, 140, 142 kilos. Now, he weighed in at 68.60. That's a little bit heavier than Mazayev's, but it would move him from fifth, I should say, up to second.
But he's got better as he's gone on.
Often happens. Well, can we keep this going, David? When was the last time you saw an absolute clean sheet?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Quite a thought, isn't it? 9 lifters, 27 attempts. Could it happen? Well, surely the defending champion isn't going to let the side down. Demir Demirev, 21 years of age. Not so good, though, out in the desert at Doha. After taking the European title and snatching 150 kilos last year, only managed 142 in Doha.
Yes, I haven't actually seen him snatching in the training hall. Saw him clean and jerking a couple of days ago. Looked very, very strong, but of course you never know how much weight they've had to lose between now and then. But that looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Certainly does. And Demirev weighing in at 68 kilos 80, one of the heavier men, but 144 does very nicely and straight to the top of the leaderboard. So Bulgaria from Azerbaijan in second and third, then France. So next out will be Armen Gazarian for Armenia. Junior world champion some 5 years ago, 4th in the World Championships last year and 4th in the Olympic Games also in 2004. I think this is quite a decent weight he's starting on, despite all the experience that he has. Well, he's kept the sequence going, no mistakes, and by a kilo goes to the top of the leaderboard. So Armenia, Bulgaria, Azerbaijan 3rd and 4th, France 5th, then Armenia. But if you look at the difference between 1st and 7th at the moment, only 5 kilos separating those men. And still to come, Gennady Oleshuk for Belarus.
And here he is.
Well, surely he's not going to let the side down. World champion at 62 kilos in 2001 in Antalya and an Olympic bronze medal in Sydney. What's he going to do in this heavier weight category? Now weighed in at 68.55. Puts him in the middle of the field in that respect. No worries. So, by virtue of lighter body weight, goes ahead of Gazarian, 2 men on 145. Now, this is some competition. I wonder what the bookmakers would have given as a spread bet odds for 27 clean lifts in the snatch. I mean, I know we've got a long way to go, David, but this is an impressive start. These men are making it look easy, but it isn't. Because the margin for error, and you know this, David, the margin for error on this particular discipline is minuscule. So Miculescu, who finds himself down in 8th place, but he's only 5 kilos off the pace, and this will take him right up to the top of the leaderboard from 8th to 1st by virtue of lighter body weight, if he can do this on his 2nd attempt.
Looks good, doesn't he?
It does look very good. And I tell you what, David, when this competition started, the hall was about just under a half full, but the word's got around now, and I would say that we're probably about 75 to 80% full. And I'm very happy to see that, because these people are being treated to a very good exhibition of weightlifting at the moment. Dabaya going for 145. This is just a 4 kilo increase. Now he weighed in at 67.85. He's the lightest of everybody. So this would put France at the top of the leaderboard. We're in the round of 2nd attempts at the moment. .30-second buzzer going. Come on. Not a question of letting us down, it's letting yourself down, but he hasn't. So France from Romania and Belarus changing all the time. It's interesting how much he's improved since he moved from the Cameroons to France, David, isn't it?
I think when he was doing Commonwealth Games, actually, I was losing some weight myself. We were both sitting in the sauna, and at the time he told me he only trained 3 days a week. So I guess he's now made a deal with the French, moved across, and is training twice a day like the rest of the athletes in this field.
So now Moseyev, Turan Moseyev, 145 on the bar for him. Well, it had to be someone, didn't it? It's a pity, but does have a 3rd attempt, so not all is lost. But you just sense now the pressure's coming on. It's as big as an aircraft hangar, the warm-up room. Well, that's the way it feels. It's vastly open. It's quite chilly when we arrived here over the weekend, but spring has certainly come. It's been a pretty gorgeous day outside. It's been a gorgeous day in Warsaw as well, as many of you might have seen on Eurosport with the tennis. By the way, we welcome your questions into our email site. It's there for you to use, question@weightlifting.de. We'd be delighted to hear from you. I know one or two of you have been a little frustrated that we haven't shown you everything. We have a busy schedule at Eurosport, and sometimes sports collide, but we do our best. So Moseyev, interesting, this coming out for 145, David, which means that everybody's going to go beyond. Everybody else, that is. So plenty of time, doesn't need to rush this, but does need to make it.
Oh, shame, did all the work.
So that's a bit of a setback he's going to have to recover from. He's left on 142 kilos. At the moment, though, he's only 3 kilos off the pace, but still Olashuk, Gazarian, Demirev, the defending champion, and Martirosyan have got second attempts to come. And plenty of third attempts as well. So Martirosyan, this teenage Armenian talent. So this is absolutely, David, a new top mark for him if he can pick this bar up. And there's no doubt that it's very clear here at these championships, David, that there's a different regime in Armenia. Performances are vastly up. Works for it. That'll do nicely. 3 white lights coming his way. 146 kilos. Still a junior, but the junior European snatch record 155 from Yuri Lavranuk. That's been around for, just checking on that, 5 years, 2001. So time someone got to grips with it. But I think where he is very good, but that would be a lift too far on this occasion. But it's noticeable, David, the whole Armenian team, you know, new uniforms, new kit, plenty of coaches, backup team, absolutely clear, the money's gone in. And just to emphasize the point, here's his teammate. Gazarian. Now Gazarian's slipped down to 5th place, but that's only because he's only taken 1 attempt. 147 to lead. Still, Martirosyan, his teammate, holds the advantage with 146 from Venceslas Dabaya, then Miculescu of Romania, 145, and then Gennady Olashuk, who's still got 2 lifts to come, he's on 145, and the man who's just failed, he's got 1 attempt left. Still, between 1st and 6th, only 2 kilos, and between 1st and 8th, only 4 kilos. So Dabaya to make it 3 out of 3. 147 would do nicely. He would go into the lead. And the chances are, David, if he does this, nobody's going to get that far away from him.
No, because it's all tactics. No one's making any big jumps. Everybody's just taking what they need to go back in front again. Head. Well, 7 seconds still on the clock. You can just see it draining out of him.
Well, that's a real shame. Wasn't expecting that, David. I think I thought he was really pumped up to go through with 3 lifts, but still in 2nd place as it stands. He's still only a kilo off the pace, but how expensive will those 2 kilos be? We will find out in about 60 minutes from now at the end of the clean and jerk phase. But Gazarian now to try and make amends. 2nd attempt at this weight, his final snatch effort though. Over half a minute remaining. No, he never got it near, did he? And he has to stay on 145 as well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 men on 145 kilos. It's that tight at the moment. He just never pulled it in the correct way. Well, you were concerned about the knee, but now the champion. Now 148 on the bar. Demirev, I suppose you could say, David, making a bit of a minor move here. He's moving on his opponents.
Yes, well, this would put him into the lead, and he'd still have a third attempt or another card to play.
Well, Bulgaria have this amazing record in this weight category. 5 times they've won this championship, and it wasn't pretty, but he got there in the end. Perhaps the technique was a little askew, but having said that, David, it was good to see his reaction at the end of this, because it sort of indicates that he is up for it. He doesn't want to relinquish his title without a big fight, and that's good. It just might be the only Bulgarian winner this week. Nilo Niculescu, the bar remaining on 148.
And he's lighter, so this would actually put him into the lead. He's looked good so far.
Yeah, he's just out of the medals at the moment by virtue of body weight. He's behind Dabaya. Still have to emphasize, David, that there's one man still a big danger. That's a terrific effort. He's on fire.
Yeah.
And a new personal best. But of course,
and the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. But interesting now, Demirev's got 1 lift left, Martirosyan's got 1 lift left, but Gennady Oleshuk has got 2 left. So Oleshuk, this is going to be mighty interesting. Oleshuk, of course, at 30, the most experienced of all the men in this 69 kilo final. Now Martirosyan, Niculescu at the top of the leaderboard by virtue of lighter body weight, ahead of Demirev. Now Martirosyan weighed in at 68.70. So this would put him into 2nd place. Stays 3rd. So still very tight at the moment. Niculescu from Demirev, but those two on 148 kilos, and Gazarian, who's finished lifting, down in 6th place on 145. There's only 3
snatches, 2 for Oleshuk and 1 for Demirev.
Yeah, but the main point is, David, unless somebody does something really dramatic, the bar's going to 150 kilos. At the moment, there's only 3 kilos really separating the main protagonists. Now, Oleshuk trying to turn the screw a little bit here, 150. And weighing in at 68.55, that's quite useful actually, because that puts him lighter than Demirev, lighter than Martirosyan, lighter than Gazarian.
Well, the other thing he's got going for him is that the snatch isn't the better of his lifts. He's much stronger on the clean and jerk, so if he wins the snatch, which isn't really his speciality, then he's got a very good base to go into the clean and jerk. Oh, look at that. Easy.
Well, 150 kilos, or according to your translation list, 10 cases of wine, 120 bottles apparently. Now, I couldn't have done that, but I know the state of your house, so I'm prepared to accept that you check that out. But there you are. I mean, that's 150 kilos. These men weighing in at 69, so we're through double body weight. And Gennady Oleshuk leading by 2 kilos over Miculescu of Romania, who's finished. And Demirev also 2 kilos off the pace, but he's got 1 lift to come. So it's 1 for Oleshuk and 1 for the defending champion. So what's Demirev going to do? Is he going to go for 150?
Well, he's at least going to go for 150, but does he not need 151?
Well, he does.
51?
He does.
I think he wants to he's just accepting the fact that Oleshuk is going to take the gold, and I think he's just trying to stay in very close.
Well, they would have kept an eye on, and also there's a big plasma television. They can watch and they can see what Oleshuk did, and they can judge the condition of the lift, and they can gauge the man. And I think what they've decided is exactly what you've said. Let's stay close to the action, and we'll try and break him with a clean and jerk in the second half. Unfortunately, plan A didn't work. So he's left 2 kilos behind. At the moment, it's Oleshuk, who's got 1 more attempt, who we now know has definitely won the snatch phase.
Well, and the Romanian, who did a personal best of 148, has got the silver medal.
Absolutely, Demirev in bronze, but he has got 140 kilos. So at the moment, Oleshuk hasn't raced away with it. At the moment, between 1st and 6th, only 5 kilos. Separating Oleshuk, Miculescu, Demirev, Martirosyan, Dabaya and Gazarian. So it is pretty close. If he makes this, then it'll be 8 kilos, and that would be different. But 5 kilos, the others will still have hopes. 8 kilos, well, the heads might just drop a little bit. This man's head, though, will be tall. So Gennady Oleshuk, at the age of 30, bidding to become European champion, something he's yet to do.
Well, he looks comfortable, he looks strong.
Well, he's actually lifted, David, 2 kilos less there than he did in the national championships in February, when he went 155, 187, 342. So, 187 clean and jerk, he's going to be tough to crack. And he does look really tuned up, doesn't he? So Vitaly Derbanov on the opening night with the men's 56 kilo category. Belarus, well, they're at the moment leading the pack. 153 kilos gives him a 5 kilo advantage over Nirel Miculescu of Romania and the defending champion Demir Demirev of Bulgaria. Well, very good first half of the competition there. You can see it started in exemplary fashion. Absolutely no failures on the first attempts. Got a bit more difficult, but there it is. Oleshuk, 3 out of 3. Miculescu, excellent for Romania, 3 out of 3. Demirev with work to do. Martirosyan of Armenia, and then Dabaya, who just lost it in that third attempt. 145 knots out of it, but he can't make a mistake in the second half if he wants to be on the overall medal podium. Fascinating competition.